Hey there, guys. Time for another game of Twilight Struggle. We're going to be the Soviets today. Yeah, I did a random sides game this time. Uh, no extra influence on either side, just standard setup. So let's see how we go. Okay, we've got East European unrest, so that's actually going to make me reluctant to place my normal extra one in Austria. We also have Truman. So if we were to play Truman, we'd also be kicked out of Austria. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and place 5 into Poland to protect against any future East European unrests or Pope attacks. So I hope you're all doing well, guys. Looking at our hand, we don't have a lot of ops, but we do have a couple of devastating events. We've got Decall and Destal, so we can spread the hammer and sickle throughout Southeast Asia and South America. As a headline, not really sure. The hand is a little bit vulnerable to Red Scare, and Truman isn't really effective. The defcon's at 5, so we obviously can't use Decall or Destal. Well, we could, but it would be a very bad idea. So I think I'll just go and throw Truman out of the deck. Okay. Interesting that he plays that card without actually doing the Marshall Plan setup, but I'm sure he has his reasons. I didn't headline Middle East because he doesn't have a +1 in Iran. So it should be fairly easy to coup, fingers crossed. So we should be able to take the lead there fairly easily. And Finland goes away. So we'll get East European unrest out of the way and use that to coup Iran. Not an awful lot we can do about special relationship unless he plays Suez Crisis, and containment will obviously be played towards the end. Come on. Yeah. Very good roll. Makes a nice change after our dice luck in in recent games. So we'll see what he does. He could maybe go ahead and take Europe to try and score on some early European domination. He might try to coup Iran. I'm guessing he's going into France here. Okay, that's interesting. We'll protect Iraq. We'll throw 2 in there. And then we'll grab Syria to score domination. Grabbing that crucial non-battleground. If he goes into Lebanon, then I think we'll coup him with special relationship. There's not a lot we can do about France. He'll probably take it anyway, so it doesn't really matter that we give him that extra 1. And NATO obviously isn't in effect, so it's a very, very small price to pay, I think. He might take Saudi Arabia, but if he doesn't manage to break domination for whatever reason, then we'll just score Middle East for, I think, is it 4 points? Yes, 4 points. So, what's his rating? 1420. So, no disrespect to Nicholas M, but this should be a fairly easy win for us. I'm putting more pressure on myself than him by, by saying that, I think. Yeah, force him to repair. Taking 1 from France as well makes the special relationship benefit that little bit less useful. And we'll go ahead and take 2 from West Germany. So if he doesn't repair that, then we can walk into Germany. I'd be very surprised if he didn't, though. I'd assume 1 into West Germany and then the rest into France. he might maybe repair West Germany and then put one into Lebanon. I don't know.
Sobre la cuestión acerca de si la lucha armada es
el
único camino para la liberación, lo que puedo responder es que, por lo menos en las condiciones de nuestro país, no había otro camino.
Now, I think that's a decent play on his part. So the question now is, do we prioritize the quick, easy points from the Middle East, or do we walk into West Germany and threaten France? I think momentum-wise, given that we're probably going to use decal and destall for the event, and the fact that Special Relationship gives him 1 point in France anyway, I think if we were to put one into Germany, then he'd be able to take France quite easily. You know, we don't really have a lot of ops to just take it outright. So I think we'll go ahead and score the Middle East, get ourselves 3 points. It's better than nothing. If I were him, I'd definitely consider taking Lebanon or Egypt now because of the Arab-Israeli war card. I mean, the odds are low, but if it were to succeed, then that's it. You know, we'd flip Israel. So I mean, oh, here we go, here we go. Yes, he's wise to do that. He's wise to do that. So okay. So we can forget about the Middle East for the moment. I'm thinking of going into South Korea with Special Relationship. Just make a little bit of headway in Asia. And that way as well, if he's got the Korean War card, he's forced to play it. If it succeeds, it succeeds. If it doesn't, then we've always got the China cards to fall back on. Interestingly, he goes into Canada, which makes me think that he might have NORAD. Oh, sorry, no, ignore me. He's already played that. But it does give us something to think about if we redraw NORAD, you know, because it definitely will be an effect if we were to trigger it. Now he might go into Malaysia to threaten Thailand. He might fight back in South Korea. He could go into Egypt if he has Nasser to give himself access to Libya. But we'll see what he does. Yeah, he does. It's interesting that. I don't really want to throw the China card away for Malaysia. I mean, he's got 2 turns left after this. It's kind of poor play, but it's not too devastating to give him containment for only 2 turns. And judging by his hand, he's had poor cards, with the exception of NORAD and Soviet events. So I don't think we're giving him too much of an advantage here. So let's see how we do. Okay, so could have been better. He can still just walk back in, but at least we've got some presence in Malaysia. You know, it's better than nothing. And we'll see what he does. He might queue back. If I were him, I'd just place another one into Malaysia, because it achieves the same goal as if there were no Soviet influence there. It doesn't matter. He can still threaten Thailand. I'd also take France if I were him. Secure an easy domination. Okay, I think that's a huge misplay. Because basically now if we coup, we can walk into Thailand. Does complicate matters a little bit, given that we don't really have a card that we want to coup with. I think I'm going to go ahead and play the China card here. Go and grab South Korea while we can. Take Malaysia and then so he can't coup Afghanistan. I think we'll just overprotect the two Koreas. They're very important countries in this game.
That men and nations can cooperate, and that there are no international problems which men of goodwill cannot solve or adjust.
If he's got Europe, he'll have to score that now. Okay. Fidel. He's going for the coup. He knocks us out of Iran. Wow. So we'll have to sort that out. It's not too devastating though. He doesn't have access to it.
Totalitarian regimes are nurtured by misery and want. They spread and grow in the evil soil of poverty and strife. They reach their full growth when the hope of a people for a better life has died.
Okay, so great news with this hand. We've got a big 4-ops card with nuclear test ban. We've got defectors, so we know that our headline event won't be cancelled. We can attack France with Suez, but the main thing I think is that we've got both Red Scare and Blockade, so we can really push in West Germany and try and turn things around in Europe, because he's doing much better there at the moment than we are. So, and also don't forget we still have Decall and D-Stall, so a really strong hand I think this guys. I think we'll go ahead and Red Scare. Okay, quite a weak headline in my opinion. It just proves that you don't really have anything else worth headlining. It's an easy choice. We'll get rid of defectors and coup Panama. Okay. So it was a decent roll. I can't complain about our dice luck so far. The only problem with leaving just one in Panama means that it's quite easy to counter coup. But we'll see what he does, see if he responds to that. He could even go for the realignment in Iraq, at which point we'd be in a lot of trouble in the Middle East. But there he goes for Panama, and he knocks us out again, irritatingly. So I think we'll have to rely on Liberation to enter Panama again, or maybe D-Style. I don't know. It's usually a country that falls to the Americans more often than not, but it's not a huge deal. So we'll go ahead and grab Thailand, and we'll work on repairing Iran. I'm just trying to think of the potential 4-op cards he could have to cancel Blockade. There are 5 if I'm not mistaken. We've seen Red Scare NATO. He's used Marshall Plan. I've got nuclear test ban, so the only one he could have is US-Japan Mutual Defense Pact. I don't think there are any more in the early war. So if he uses that this turn, then we know the blockade is definitely going to be successful. In fact, I think we might as well start pushing in West Germany, you know, break it and then flip it with blockade on the last action round. Very, very effective play. You know, we could slam 3 in there with nuclear test ban, then add another one with Vietnam revolts, and then take it at the end if he doesn't have US-Japan. We also don't have to worry about Truman because we got rid of it last turn. Okay, going for Cuba. Oh wow. Wow, so Central America's just been absolutely annihilated. So the point of me doing this is to force him to use the 3-ops from US-Japan, if he does have it, to repair West Germany, and then we can go ahead and break it again with Vietnam, and then we know that he can't prevent blockade because he's under Red Scare, and there aren't any more 4-op cards left, so we'll flip West Germany by doing that. But fair play to him in Central America. He got some decent realignments there. So we're going to have to pray for liberation theology in the mid-war. Okay, so he's reluctant to use that that Japan card if he does have it. I mean, even if he does have to discard that, you know, it's still a lot of ops that he's just had to throw away instead of being able to use. Excuse me. So there's always an upside to attacking your opponent. Okay, I think it's about time we use decal. Okay. Probably should have played that slightly earlier. You know, he didn't really have any opportunity there to push into Asia. The Koreas are both firmly locked down. I've blocked him off from Thailand by taking Malaysia. I've blocked him off from West Asia because I control Iraq. So I think by holding on to that Asia scoring card for longer, it's only allowed me to potentially spread further. Luckily for him, I didn't. I was focusing on West Germany, but that could have come back to bite him a lot more than it actually did. So we'll take a risk now. Hopefully he hasn't got the Japan card, and we will create a united communist Germany, all being well. Come on, come on. Yes. Fantastic.
So my country's purpose is to help us move out of the dark chamber of horrors into the light, to find a way by which the minds of men, the hopes of men, the souls of men everywhere can move forward toward peace and happiness and well-being.
So, in my opinion, I think we've been very, very lucky here card-wise, because we've redrawn decal, which is hugely advantageous. We've still got D-Style. I don't think Independent Reds has been played, so I think with that we'll take 3 from Romania and maybe 1 from the Koreas, and move ahead into South America. We've got NASA, so we can jump over to the western part of the Middle East. We can control the DEFCON with duck and cover. I don't really mind giving him 3 points at this point because we are quite far ahead where points are concerned. He could have defectors, which we have to be mindful of. So because of that, I think I'll just play a fairly safe headline with the Cambridge 5. Okay. Okay. So the fact that he played that as his headline means that we can't actually get the advantage. We'll sacrifice our 3 points. We'll grab Algeria before he can. We'll take Iran in case he decides to break through Iraq, you know, in case he tries to access Asia that way. And we'll go ahead and overprotect Angola so he can't flip it with a 3-ops card. In my opinion, there isn't much point in playing NASA for the event now, because if we do, then we won't be able to attack Egypt again after Sadat comes out. I think if we keep it in the deck, then the chances are that Sadat will be played in the mid-war, and then come turn 7, we could use it to our advantage. So, okay, I don't like that at all. And we're not going to let it happen. We're going to just throw the China card in there, overprotect it, because we don't actually have any 3-ops cards. Well, we do, but I want to use destalinisation for the event, so we're not going to let that happen. I've mentioned in a previous video, I'm not a big fan of people who just keep breaking influence. I find it quite irritating. It's quite tedious. If there's a tactic behind it, like with our blockade, then fair enough. But there are certain players who, when they've got a fairly high ops hand, all they'll do is just keep, you know, slamming influence into different countries. It's very irritating. It makes for boring play, and it's rarely effective unless you have a very low ops hand or you're under the effects of Red Scare. Okay, quite glad we've got this. Let me just have a look at the country count. 4 to 3. So if we throw 2 into 2 of the 3 stability Eastern European countries, we might be able to score domination. At the same time, there's the danger of not overprotecting Poland. I'm a bigger fan of scoring quick points, so we'll go with that play. But then again, if he realises that I'm doing that, he could just take Spain and Greece, and then it would be very hard to catch up. I think we need to accept that we're maybe not going to score domination in Europe. You know, we need to be happy with the extra 1 point from West Germany. I think I'll do that again. Overprotect the battlegrounds and throw 1 into Austria. And that gives us another one to another influence point, sorry, to use with D-Style. We don't need to play Korean War for the event. We can use that for ops. Might start moving into Pakistan. We don't want 2 crucial Asian battlegrounds to be vulnerable to puppet governments. Okay, so he wisely starts advancing in Central America. We can't really do a lot about that. Do want to start going into Pakistan, but I'm going to take Afghanistan first to protect against the Indo-Pakistani war card. Because that can come out to bite you when you least expect it, and when you don't want it. I think we'll use D-Style next as well, because if there's one lesson I've learnt the hard way, it's that using D-Style too late towards the end of a turn can make it very, very vulnerable to Voice of America. So if we start spreading, maybe save Decol till the next round. It's not actually hugely useful at this point, apart from maybe bulking up some of our African battlegrounds and overprotecting Thailand. Okay, there's Japan. Okay, he wisely takes South Africa. Let's play D-Style now. In fact, no. Sorry, bear with me. So he sort of has to respond in Mexico. I did want to take it outright, but then, you know, with the exception of liberation theology, there isn't really an easy way for the Soviets to get into Panama, and it does usually fall to the Americans given the Panama Canal card. Now here, I don't really understand why he's realigning. I think if you've got a 3-ops card, why take that risk? Why not just throw them all into Mexico? Yeah, so we'll take Mexico with this and move into Zaire, or maybe secure Venezuela. Yeah, I think we'll do that, because if he attacks Angola, then we've got decolonization, so we can just move back in with that. That's not really an issue. I've done something here that I don't usually do, which is leave a scoring card until the end. Ignore that. Don't do that, guys. I think it's poor play, because if the Americans do something on their penultimate turn, then you can't really respond to it, so they effectively get 2 uninterrupted action rounds in a row. He's going for that realignment again. Okay, that's good news for us. We'll get a point here. It's better than nothing. Obviously the alternative would have been him having domination there, so I'll choose grabbing just 1 point over him having a 5-point lead any day of the week. Things he could do now, he could try another realignment in Mexico. I'd break something though if I were him. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Algeria, maybe Mexico. Yeah, it's going for the realignment again. Okay, so it's not hugely concerning.
Объединенных Наций и государства и передать им пожелания благополучия и процветания.
Okay, so I'd say this again is a pretty strong hand. We can space Voice of America, that's not an issue. Alliance, he'll only get 1 point, providing he doesn't take any more Central or South American battlegrounds. Have we seen defectors? No, we haven't, so we have to be wary of that. I don't want to play decal in case he does have defectors. We're already in Chile, so if Allende gets defected, it doesn't really matter that much. So oh no. Okay, so we can't space Voice of America. I also don't have any decent coup targets. Chile and South Africa are the only. Oh, and Israel, obviously, but that's pointless. I'll just get rid of Summit to control the DEFCON. We'll go for South Africa because if a miracle happens and we do roll a 6, then at least there's some possibility that we could walk into South Africa. And we do roll a 6. Wow. Our dice luck this game has been extraordinary up until now. Can't really complain. So even under Red Scare, we've given him something to think about. Okay. Roll me a card. Woo! We've still not seen Independent Reds, have we? Has it been played? No. So still makes me reluctant to put points into the 3 stability countries. Again, we'll just go and overprotect the battlegrounds, throw 1 into Austria to protect against any future realignments in East Germany. And we'll actually go and put 1 in Finland because a lot of US players like to put 1 into Finland with puppet governments when there aren't really any viable countries. You know, like later in the game when puppet governments becomes a little bit less useful. They'll look for any country where they can just score maybe an easy point, and obviously Finland is one of those countries, so I think we'll throw 1 in there for that reason. See what he does. I'm guessing he'll repair South Africa, maybe go into Egypt. What else could he do? He might break a country, he might break Angola, he might break Mexico. I think that would be a wise play because that would then allow him to go into Guatemala. Okay, so he's setting up for a realignment, so we've got to respond to that. We'll get rid of Alliance. We only lose 1 point. It's not a huge deal. We'll overprotect Angola, and then we'll go into Zaire, so he can't realign us. Well, he could realign us, but it makes the odds that little bit smaller. If he had Africa, I'd play it now, unless he has colonial rearguards. But if he does have colonial rearguards, then oh no. Please fail, please fail. Oh dear. Oh dear, he's been really unfortunate, this player. We'll just send our condolences. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. We'll irritate him again with decolonization. I think an important thing when you're under Red Scare is, if possible, try to still cause damage. try to still cause things that force your opponent to respond, because obviously you can use the fact that your opponent is under Red Scare to storm ahead and break countries and spread around, you know. So we'll overprotect Thailand, we'll attack South Africa, and I think we'll go and overprotect the one stability countries. Oh, no worries. If you choose to roll massive for realignments, you can't complain if it doesn't work. Yeah, it's a fair comment, I suppose, but you know, he had to try something. I'd taken Mexico. It's a bit of a pain to, you know, try and break it or to try and flip it or to then mess about with realignments. And obviously, when Mexico borders the USA, the realignment odds are even. So I don't think he should beat himself too much. Sorry, I don't think he should beat himself up too much for that. So yeah. Okay. Okay. I think in case he has ABM, we'll just go and take Brazil. It could also make Venezuela vulnerable to junta. I hope I'm pronouncing that word, by the way, correctly. My Spanish isn't what it used to be.
Y esa parece ser la situación también en muchos otros países de Asia y de África.
Okay, I'd have used that for the event. Protects Israel from future Arab-Israeli wars. Not really. Oh, he's trying for the realignment in Algeria, isn't he? Yeah. We'll go and grab Saharan states then. If he coups it, we can coup back with Nasser. And obviously, if he fails, then it'll still score us domination. In fact, looking back, I probably should have put 2 into Tunisia, because then we could have also accessed Libya. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. And then we'll take Panama. Realignment odds are still in his favour though. I think it's 3-2 to him. He could also realign Nigeria if he wanted to. But Africa generally not looking great for him. Ooh. So he really wants Algeria. Try a cheeky coup in Saharan states, pray for a big roll. That would regain our domination. I'm not going to get my hopes up though. No. No, one-up coups are rarely successful. So if he takes Algeria, we'll just have to take it on the chin. We'll still have domination. It'll still be 4 points. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we do actually have to be concerned about Africa now.
We dare not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed.
That's actually really, really powerful play. Because if we coup, then he can just walk back in. Then he can just walk into Angola. But if we don't, then he could probably coup Zaire. And then if we were to walk into Angola, he'd be able to realign us out really easily. I think with this hand I'm going to go ahead and play Brezhnev. Means we can space OAS. And also if we 5-year plan Voice of America, then we can just repair any damage that he does with that card. So I think we'll do that. Okay. He can't really hurt us there for the moment. We will have to throw an extra one into East Germany as we go into the late war to protect against tear down this wall. Part of me was hoping for a DEFCON card there, so we could walk back into Angola. Having said that, there aren't really any decent coup targets. If we just throw 2 in, take back Algeria as well to give him something else to think about. You know, he's really really caused me to think there. And then I think we'll overprotect Mexico in case he decides to coup that. Kudos. Sorry, that joke was terrible.
Our goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right. Not peace at the expense of freedom, but both peace and freedom here in this hemisphere. And we hope around the world, God willing, that goal will be achieved.
Okay, what I'm going to do now then is I'm going to play Che. I'm going to coup the Saharan states, and then I'm going to try and flip Botswana, because if we do that, he'll not be able to realign Angola so easily, and we might also have a chance at realigning South Africa. So, okay. Come on, big roll. Part of me also wants to play Usuri now and give him the China card. It's much better than letting him have 4 influence in Asia. It also gets rid of a pretty devastating event fairly. Oh no. Okay. So yeah, I think we'll do that. He can't really hurt us in Asia by whacking loads of influence into Korea or Thailand or anywhere like that. I'll go ahead now and throw one into Colombia to threaten Panama, and then I'll throw the other 2 into South America to give us control. So now he's got to think, do I coup Saharan states to prevent Africa domination? Do I protect Panama to prevent Central American domination? You know, a couple of things to think about. Do I coup Colombia to get a presence in South America? Do I coup Botswana to make realignments more attractive? We'll see what he does. We'll use one small step for the event and then space OAS. Okay. Or will we? Actually, hang on. In fact, no, we'll give up on the space race. We'll walk into Pakistan because I'm a little bit wary of puppet governments. And then we'll put another one into Colombia to threaten that. And I think we'll put the other one into India again just to protect against puppet governments. It's becoming less and less useful. The only that he could use it on, he only has access to anyway, so it's not hugely devastating. I suppose the only thing we've got to worry about is maybe him putting one into Guatemala. Wow, his die rolls are awful. We'll go ahead and space OAS while we can, and we get lucky. I'm not too concerned about letting him control Central America. I think it's only 2 points for the Americans. We can take that on the chin, definitely. So he seems to have had a low up hand. He's only got 3 cards to discard. Can be a game changer for the US. So I'm protecting India and Pakistan from the Indo-Pakistani war card. He can't attack Pakistan at all, and for India he'd need a 6. So
What your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
woo! You tell him, Jack. Now I realise here I've actually made a huge mistake, because he could knock us out of Venezuela and Brazil. However, if he does that, I'll just coup Colombia, and with it being a 4-ops card now, it'll likely be a huge result, so we could just walk back in. That wasn't the best redraw. No. Get out of the way. I'd assume Venezuela and Brazil, but he could surprise us. If he does anywhere else, then we'll just repair it with 5 here. Okay, so we'll just. In fact, I'm wary of the Panama card, so I'll actually put 3 into Venezuela. Oh no, I've put 4 there. Sorry. And then repair Mexico. So not too devastating. I mean, if I hadn't forgotten about the Brazil and Venezuela situation, then that would have been a problemless card to play, given that we had Brezhnev. Okay, so he scores that for even. So he wouldn't have been able to take the country anyway.
Через тяжелейшие испытания советские люди отстояли.
Okay, so the first hand we've had with some real issues.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
The good news is that we have defectors, so we know that our headline won't get cancelled. We do have CIA though, so we need to be mindful of that. We could just space rear guards and then keep onto Bear Trap. I think we'll play OPEC to get some points. Okay, why is it frozen? What's going on? Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that happened. Okay, the bad news now is that we can't really get rid of CIA because he'll likely coup South America. Okay, fair play. We can just repair that though, so it's not a huge problem. Go ahead and overprotect it so Panama Canal doesn't cause us any problems. I've got a feeling this turn might be the end of the game. I mean, Southeast Asia scoring is out there. That will give us 3 points. Africa scoring is out there. That will give us 4 points. And oh dear, please be CIA. Okay, so now we've got to what? Oh, has he given us the card back? No, he hasn't. Wow, so now...
Нам посмеетесь, когда мы, знаете, обгоним вас и скажем: господа капиталисты, до свидания, наш поезд сюда идет. Пожалуйста, за нами.
Well, to be fair, we could use How I Learned to Stop Worrying and take a bit of a risk and set the DEFCON to 5. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Excuse me. Because then, I mean, the worst case scenario is he has We Will Bury You, and if we set the DEFCON to 4, he could then coup with that and take it back to 2. However, if he were to use that, we'd get 3 points anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. At this point, though, I'm more concerned about taking Algeria because he seems to have Africa scoring, judging by his gameplay. We'll go ahead and throw one into Saudi Arabia, just keep the momentum up in the Middle East. But, I mean, given that he grain sailed us then, How I Learned to Stop Worrying is a godsend. He's just going to keep on with this realignment. A little bit annoying, but we can't do an awful lot about it. Going to go ahead and throw Bear Trap out. However, now if we fail colonial rear guards, then we'll have to discard How I Learned to Stop Worrying, which again was a very silly thing to do. So I'm not really thinking. God's sake. Yeah, sure, whatever. Please work. Yes, thank God. So the Soviet Union lives on. I mean, even if he scores this for 4 points, that'll take us down to 13. South America will still win us the game though, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, yeah, good for you. And also, if we do play this for the event, then we can try and coup some of the African countries again. Yeah, 5. Okay. And he doesn't have Cuban Missile Crisis because I think we've played that somewhere. Where has it gone? Yeah, there it is. Have we seen How I Learned to Stop Worrying? Sorry, not Harlan, stop worrying, we will bury you. Oh, we have. Is there anything else you could use to bring the DEFCON down twice? I don't think there is, actually. So maybe we can go to 4. Yeah, there's nothing then that he can use there to take it down to 2. We've used Cuba, and he can't use we will bury you, so okay, I'm guessing he's going to go for the coup here when I in fact no, I'll put one into Cuba just to irritate him that little bit more. So I'm guessing now he'll coup Panama to take it back. Wow. I mean, I really want to respond to that, but we can't. We've got to throw CIA out of the deck. Good thing about using it towards the end is that he doesn't get a huge insight into the cards that we have. It's amazing how quickly Africa flipped. It's very annoying. Again, just pesky realignments. They're the bane of my life. Yeah, they do annoy me. Especially when there aren't any modifiers. You know, when your opponent just gets a lucky roll when you're say when you've just de-Stalinized as the Soviets and you've gone into Chile maybe, and then they just get a random lucky realignment. It doesn't sit well with me. If I were him, then I would have protected Panama. So that makes me think that he has 2 scoring cards. The other probably being either, well, it has to be either South America or Southeast Asia. And I can't complain about either because that's 3 points, and I think this one's 9, is it? Or 8. But now we need to sort Africa out. It's suddenly become a huge problem. Okay. So it wasn't a great hand for him.
For the first time, because the people of the world want peace, and the leaders of the world are afraid of war, the times are on the side of peace.
Okay, I'm thinking playing Portuguese Empire, then coupping Angola. Puppet governments isn't a huge concern. John Paul, we're protected against. I think we'll space shuttle diplomacy and play nuclear subs as our last action round. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play Portuguese Empire. Okay, that's annoying. In fact, I'm more concerned about keeping South America Soviet than maybe stealing one African country. So if he puts it into Brazil, then I think we'll just coup Brazil. Oh, okay. I don't know why occasionally the screen freezes when I click the dice. It might have something to do with the internet connection. I don't know. We've given up on Africa, but I've explained in the past, I think with this game sometimes it's important just to let one region go. And considering that we're doing pretty well everywhere else, I'm happy to forfeit Africa. Okay, that's good. Oh no. Angola. Oh dear. Let's see. Okay. I always get scared when when Mexico is realigned. Play puppet governments. We'll use the points first. I'll throw one into Guatemala and then one into Angola. Then if he coups Guatemala, we can get into some coup war maybe. I don't know. No cards on here that give me any points, because obviously when we play South America that will give us 10. And if Central America goes poorly, that will give us 4 and win us the game. Africa is his saving grace here. He could also do with going into Egypt. But if you remember, we did actually keep Nasser, so that might be bothering him as well. I don't want to tempt fate. I'm not going to say that we're going to win or that things look good for us, because I'm sure you know how quickly this game can turn around. Okay, so that's the game, guys. We can just go ahead and score South America. So, whoops. So, pretty unfortunate for him. I think his dice luck was horrendous. I think ours was really good. However, he did make a few mistakes here and there, especially in the early war, that allowed us to gain the early momentum that the Soviet Union really needs to win the game, to protect against future dangerous US cards. But overall, I think he played well, especially in Africa. I mean, hats off to him. That was devastating. But oh no, it isn't the game. Sorry, I keep thinking. Sorry, I keep thinking South America is 10 for control, but I forget that he's in Colombia. Just made a complete fool of myself. Okay. Let's go and upset the balance in Europe. Sorry about that, guys. I assumed South America was 10 for control. It is, but he's got Colombia. Well, maybe you have another one. I don't, obviously, but I like to keep my opponent guessing. I might take Saudi Arabia next, providing he doesn't do anything drastic. Okay. I don't think it will give us domination, but you know, it just keeps momentum going. Pope John Paul isn't a problem. We'll throw both of them into Poland, I think, from Pope John Paul, so we can protect against solidarity. We'll space now to prevent him from spacing. And he could also grab 2 points if he gets 2 man in space. Okay. Might as well get nuclear subs out of the deck. A good target for him would be Angola. And we'll go and overprotect Poland for the late war. Could argue that I should have overprotected Argentina, but we've just scored it. It won't come out again. Okay, so he doesn't take advantage of nuclear subs, which is interesting. And he's going to mess around with the deck. if we draw Star Wars in the late war, then we need to play that as quickly as possible, because it can be quite a troublesome card. Okay, I think the only card I'm disappointed about there was Europe scoring. The others I'm not too concerned about.
But surely one such lesson learned by the world at great cost is that aggression, unopposed, becomes a contagious disease.
Okay, so the only thing offering 2 victory points is Arab-Israeli war, and we can't win that because of the countries surrounding Israel. We could, however, just try and space on our first turn. If we play Hunter, coup, control the DEFCON, and then space, say, grain sales, I think that's what we'll do. Okay, I don't really care about that because we have John Paul and he can't use solidarity until we play it. It is concerning regarding tear down this wall, however. We'll just go and upset things in Cuba. Wow. Yeah, the dice have been amazing today. Okay, so this is it. 50-50 for a victory. And I've done the maths right this time. We will actually win if this succeeds. Come on. Yes, there we go. So yeah, our opponent was very unfortunate with his dice rolls. The cards also fell in our favour. We got some huge rolls. I mean, just then in Cuba. The Iran coup was good at the start. A few more examples that I can't really think of. But yeah, it was just one of those games where the Soviet player was able to optimize on his good fortune and storm ahead. So yeah, thank you for watching again, guys. If you enjoyed the video, as always, please like and subscribe to see more of it, and I will see you next time. Take care.